And it was a consensus of the committee that, well, you're overextended already. To put it bluntly, Mr. Hollister, they turned you down.
But I need that loan. Well, where can you go if you can't get help from your own credit union? I'm in trouble. Big trouble.
You're not alone. Times are tough. A lot of people are getting caught in the crunch. As I said, that's why we're holding these family finance seminars.
But...
Hello? Hi, honey. Oh, what time does it start? Excuse me. Mr. Hollister, the first seminar is Tuesday night. Think about it, won't you?
Hi. How are things in radiology? Hey, Tim. What's the matter? You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. No, I'm not okay. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Ted.
Hi, sweetheart.
What happened to the check you were supposed to send to APCO? They called again today.
You can't send what you don't have. Credit union turned me down.
What now? Well, you better do something. It's getting so that I cringe every time the phone rings.
I guess I'll catch the 6 o'clock news.
You know, just this morning, Grandpa and I were leaving for church to help with the mailing, and suddenly there was this banging on the door. Some guy from a collection agency. It was humiliating. Tim, I just can't live like this anymore. I won't live like this anymore.
Oh, knock it off, Barbara. What do you want from me, anyway?
Hey, Dad.
Hi, Scotty.
Catch. Pretty neat, huh?
What's with this? It's already got a glove.
Well, I know, but Willie wanted it so much. Besides, it was only $7 on sale. Well, you know how hard it is to say no.
See it, want it, buy it. Seems like that's the motto around here.
Well, look who's talking. Have you noticed the checks you've been writing?
What are you trying to do? Buy out the store?
Have you been to a supermarket lately? We've got to eat, and food costs money.
Yeah, but you spend it faster than I can make it. You should have married that guy whose father owned the chain of supermarkets.
Well, maybe I should have. At least what I buy is practical, not ridiculous like that CB radio you bought last month.
It's a dumb old mitt anyways. I don't want it. All you two do is fight. Can't stand it.
He's right.
I'm sorry. Oh, honey, what are we gonna do?
Beats me. You know, the only thing we really argue about is money. Mr. Brandon at the credit union was telling me about some family finance seminar they're holding at the hospital next week. What do you think?
How can listening to a lecture help?
I don't know, Barbara, but I don't have any place else to turn.
Can I help, son?
No, Dad. You're doing more than your share already. This is my problem, and I've got to work it out.
You know, that seminar sounds like a good idea. Maybe you kids ought to go.
Just remember, you may have to re-examine your priorities. Ask yourself what's really important. If your outgo exceeds your income, then the outcome is downfall.
Mr. Haley, my family and I, well, there's always seemed to be enough money before. Why is it so tough now?
1973. Remember that date. Up until that year, we lived in an era of surplus. Now, we live in an age of shortages. Inflation, higher taxes, unemployment, increased energy costs. We've got to build them into our financial planning. It's not business as usual, and it won't be for a long time to come. Now then, let's recap. The importance of a budget, the question.
I still don't get it. What good is a budget? It's not going to bring any more money in.
Well, I've got a friend who says that a budget is the greatest gimmick in the world for saving money. Every night he and his wife work on it, and by the time they get it balanced, it's too late to go anywhere. Seriously, folks, a budget is simply a spending plan. It's a tool. It'll tell you where you're at and indicate where you're going. Now, that alone will relieve a lot of stress. Now, remember, the first thing you have to know is your present income. You have to know how much money you have coming in each month. Your annual salary, gifts, bonuses, dividends, interest, tax refunds. Add them all up, then you divide them by 12. Expenses. There are two kinds, fixed and flexible. Fixed expenses are amounts you know you're going to have. House payments and rent, utilities, taxes, insurance, time payments, that kind of stuff. The flexibles, they're a little trickier. They're called flexibles because you have some control. Every time you reach for your wallet or your purse or you write a check for something, it doesn't matter what it is, if it's a plumbing bill or a newspaper, if it's not listed under fixed expenses, right then and there you make a note of it and you put it in a file folder. Then you put that file folder someplace where you can see it so you won't forget. At the end of the month, you empty that file folder out and total everything up, and you add them to your fixed expenses. Now you know what it's costing you to live. The idea is to use this month as a basis of general planning for next month. You'll know where your money is going. You'll have an idea of what's happening. Anyway, you deduct your expenses from your monthly income and
keep your fingers crossed.
well, there's some truth in that. But let me tell you something. Along with everything else, you should strive to save 10% of your income. You need it as a cushion for the unexpected, for emergencies.
How can you save 10% when it takes every penny you've got just to live?
Your kid may have to go to the dentist.
Ask him.
Your car may break down. Maybe you'll need a new tire.
Go ahead, ask him.
I don't want to, not in front of everybody.
Now, in closing, I want to stress 3 points. Priorities. All of your spending is linked to a set of values. Examine your value system. Conservation. You will have to conserve to survive. Now, energy is expensive, so use less of it, but conservation involves everything. Buy wisely. And finally, sacrifice. You will have to do without some things that are not prudent priorities. Well, I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. And incidentally, I've arranged my schedule for private consultations. Any of you have any special problems, see me before you leave. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Nice, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Make general repairs on all your property. For each house, pay $25, and for each hotel, pay $100.
You have a serious cash flow problem, Scotty. You'll have to mortgage a couple of those hotels.
I got it, Dad.
Oh, okay, Tim.
Well, Mr. Haley. Evening.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
Hello, Mr. Haley.
Hi.
Thank you for coming.
Well, you're welcome. Well, have we been able to come up with any figures?
Yeah, I'll get him.
Good.
Scotty, Grandpa Hollister, I'd like you to meet Mr. Haley.
How are you, sir?
My pleasure, sir.
Nice to meet you. Hi there, young man.
Hi. Honey, we're going to go over some financial matters. Do you think you and Grandpa could take that game into the kitchen?
Sure. Well, hold it a minute. If you don't mind, I'd just as soon they stayed. Budgeting is a family matter, you know. It's going to take each one of you to make it work.
Sounds reasonable.
All right.
Okay?
Fine, I'd enjoy that.
Thank you. Now, let's see. Well, at the moment, as I see it, you should have only one goal. You've got to have breathing room. You've got to get out of debt. Your fixed expenses are just too close to your income right now. You've really got to watch the flexibles, cut way back. There are 4 major areas I want you to watch. You too, Scotty. Housing, transportation, food, and services. Now, shall we start with housing?
Now, I know what you're going to say. We could move to a smaller, less expensive place.
No, we love our home. And the schools are good. And Scotty...
Hey, wait a minute. I don't want to move. Dad,
And Scotty's doing great. Besides, our friends are here.
Okay. I agree. In your case, it's not the solution. In fact, one thing you've got going for you is that you're buying your own home. Its value is increasing with inflation. But you've got to cut back someplace. How about transportation?
Well, we've got the station wagon. Barbara drives it. And I've got my little sports car. I'd sure hate to sell that. We'll cut back on the driving, and Scotty and I'll hose him down instead of using the car wash. What about services?
Simple enough. Until you get back on your feet financially, you don't hire anyone to do anything you can do yourself. Or do without. And utilities. Now, they're services, too. You turn off lights, fix drippy faucets. All the utility companies have pamphlets on conservation. Read them. You'll be amazed at how much you can save.
Scotty. Honey, not right now.
And food. Now, that's an area where everyone can economize.
I knew that was coming. Look, nutrition is very important. I can't endanger my family's health just to save a few pennies.
Well, you're right, Mrs. Hollister. But let me assure you, there are lots of ways you can economize and still give your family everything they need. Mrs. Hollister.
Oh, Barbara.
Barbara, the Department of Agriculture publishes over 40 pamphlets on low-cost, nourishing meals. Get hold of some.
less beef, more beans, huh?
Right. And there are lots of things you can do. When you shop, make a list. Avoid impulse buying. Everything from pop to potato chips. Use store coupons. Don't waste a thing.
What about discount houses, membership co-ops?
Sure, they're great. What it really comes down to is conservation and sacrifice. You may have to make some definite changes in your lifestyle.
It all sounds so drastic. I mean, what's the point of living if you can't...
There isn't any choice. And besides, something I've learned in this business, happiness isn't in things. It's in love, in giving, in togetherness. It's in peace of mind. And the only way you're going to have that peace of mind is by making sacrifices, by getting out and staying out of debt.
You're right, but everything's so complicated. Credit cards, charge accounts, revolving time plans.
You can say that again, Sonny. You know, in my day, you knew when you were broke. You turned your pockets inside out, and if there was nothing there, Sonny, you were broke.
You just put your finger on one of our society's biggest problems, sir. Credit cards are real convenient if you can pay immediately when the bill comes. Otherwise, you're just borrowing money at terribly high interest, and you pile up a lot of debts you can't pay. Until you can use them right, I want you to put the credit cards away. If you can't pay cash, don't buy.
That will take some planning.
I guess that's the idea.
Well, enough for one night. Do the best you can. I'll be back in a month, and we'll take another look.
Thank you very much,
Sure.
Mr. Haley.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks again. Good night.
Hey, you know what? I kind of like that fella.
He makes a lot of sense. You know, it's about time somebody started being frugal around here.
Frugal? Isn't that some kind of dance?
Oh, you know, you're something special.
What are you doing?
I could save 20 cents on some paper towels.
Oh,
What's so funny?
What's happening?
your mother. Fastest scissors in the West.
Good morning.
Barbara.
Well, I guess there's no time to waste. The first thing I'm going to do is put away the credit cards.
Honey, I've been thinking about the house painting. It's going to have to wait, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
But we've already bought the paint.
Well, we'll just have to take it back.
No way. I bought it on sale.
You can cancel the painter. No reason why I can't paint this house myself.
I don't know, Pop. That's a pretty big job.
I can do it a little bit at a time. And besides, the exercise will do me good.
I could help you after work and on weekends. We'll give it a try.
What about me? What can I do?
I was just thinking about that. You know your $5 a week allowance. For now, I'm afraid that $2.50 is all we can spare.
What? I have to give up half?
Scotty.
That's no fair.
Maybe you're right. Maybe there's another way. Look, I'll make you a deal. You're old enough now. If you'll take over mowing and edging the lawn and give Grandpa and me a hand painting the house, your allowance goes up to $7.
Wow.
Good deal.
Now, hold on. Up to now, you've been able to spend your money any way you want it. But from here on, if there's anything extra you need, school supplies, whatever, you pay for it. And your lunch money comes out of that $7, too. Understand? Well, I gotta go.
Well, okay, but what about that leather jacket you promised me? I'll be an old man before I can save up that much.
Well, this old man's got a lot of paint to mix, so we better dig in here on the double, get some work done. Well, look who's here. You know, Scotty, I've been thinking on that problem of yours about the jacket. You know, what we need is a budget within a budget. Now, we know what your income is. Now, what are your expenses?
Well, I can't go anywhere without paying to get in.
Well, it looks like you're going to have to find some things to do that are free.
Like what?
Well, museums, parks. You know, the park department has a whole slew of things to do, and they don't cost you a dime. They have film programs, field trips, you name it. Now, what else do you spend your money on?
Well, I usually pick up a couple of candy bars after school. I guess I could do with one. Well, I'll write already, so who needs candy?
What else?
And then there's that lunch. I have to pay for it myself, you know. I guess I could cut that out, too. I could starve.
Oh, come on. There's a wise economy and a plain foolish economy, boy. And the good Lord doesn't want you to starve. You know what the Bible says.
What does the Bible have to do with budgeting?
What does the Bible have to do with it? Well, the Bible is the source book of our business and economic principles. And what it all boils down to is that a little self-denial and a lot of hard work will get you most anything you need. So I'll take the paint and you tote the brushes and we'll get to work, okay?
again.
Well, I must admit, in this last month, you've done better than I expected. You're just about even with the board. Except that being even with the board isn't going to get you out of debt.
What now?
Good question. Two choices. Find more ways to cut expenses or generate additional income.
Well, maybe I should get a job.
Honey, no.
I understand how you feel, Tim, but I think the day when a man can expect to support his family without help is just about over.
If I got something part-time.
I hate to say it, but it seems to me like the solution is to get rid of one of the cars. My sports car will have to go.
Oh, honey.
Look, that $162 payment will make a big dent in what we owe, and besides, the hospital's only 3 miles away. You can run me to work, or maybe I can hitch a ride with Hank down the street.
I think that's a wise idea, son.
Thanks. I needed that.
Look at it this way, Tim. The monthly payments are only part of it. Just think what you'll save on gasoline and maintenance and insurance.
Oh, boy. Boy, do I need that. That's great. Well, it's all finished, boy. I just slapped the last bit of paint on half an hour ago. Boy, did we save a bundle.
Far out.
I thank the good Lord that he gave me the strength to finish it. And he'll see my appreciation at church in the collection plate.
Grandpa, with things as tight as they are for us, I don't see how we can give. If we didn't have to do that...
Don't have to. We want to. You know, your grandmother and I tithed all our lives. Returned to the Lord 1/10 of our income, besides gifts and offerings. It's part of a partnership with God.
Partnership?
That's right. And tell me, boy, can you think of a better partner? You know, I've been through a couple of wars and the Big Depression. I had some really hard times, but I fared better than most. He took care of us. That's what partners do for each other.
Do Mom and Dad give that much to the church, too?
What they do is their business.
But if you don't have anything to spare, I don't see how you can give.
That's when giving means the most. And son, no matter how little you've got, there's always someone who has less than you. And if you share, God promised in the Bible to make what you have left go a lot farther.
I can't believe it. You know, with all I've learned, I've managed to cut our food budget by 20%.
You could have fooled me.
You know, hon, I think I see a pinpoint of light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, I hope so. Honey, what's the matter? You have a problem?
Where'd you get the loot?
Saved for my allowance. You know your budget within a budget?
Yeah?
It really works. You know where I've been? The leather shop. Looking at my jacket.
So?
Well, I almost bought it. Except then I started thinking. Dad, you sold your car, and Gramps told me that Mom even offered to get a job. Whenever I came home, there was Gramps outside, painting from morning till night. And the more I looked at it, just somehow didn't seem right. So here.
Look, you saved this money. You worked for it. And I know you want that jacket more than anything.
Not more than anything. You know all that fighting that was going on around here? Well, it stopped. We're family again. I just want it to stay that way.
It will, Scotty. It will.
Honey, we promise.
So tell me, is there any reason why we can't be a family and still have a kid with a new leather jacket?
Why not?